Hey guys, so today is the last review before your quiz tomorrow. So this is just 10.3 and 12.3, 12.4 review day 2. So just like yesterday, you guys had 4 problems for homework. I'm just going to go through the answers. If you already got the answer correct, feel free to flip to the next slide and you don't have to watch the whole video. Okay, for number 1, you're trying to find the measure of angle T, and the measure of angle T is 74 degrees. So if you did not get that correct, let's go ahead and label what it tells us. So we're going to label the following. Segment TU is congruent with UE, and the measure of arc TE is 64 degrees. We're trying to find the measure of angle T. Now, as you guys can see, this is a triangle inscribed in a circle. Since the triangle has 2 equal sides, it's an isosceles triangle, which means it's also going to have 2 equal angles. So you just have to ask yourself, okay, which 2 angles are going to be equal? Well, the angles that are equal are going to be the angles that are across from the tick marks. So if you kind of imagine a little imaginary line from the tick marks, these are going to be your equal angles. So angles T and E. All right, but we've been given an arc, TE. So let's talk about that third angle, U. Angle U is an inscribed angle because its vertex on the edge of the circle. And you'll notice it is opening up to arc TE. So in order to get the measure of angle U, you're going to take half of TE. So half of 64 is going to be 32. Now our goal is to find angle T. If you want, you can call it X. And since T and E are the same, you can actually call them both X. And we know that all 3 angles inside of a triangle add to 180. So you can set up the equation x plus 32 equals 180. Add up your x's to get 2x. Subtract 32 from 180. And then divide by 2. And you get your 74. Okay, question number 2. You're finding 2 things. The measure of arc AU is 54 degrees. And the measure of angle STU is 126 degrees. All right, let's label everything it tells us. Well, it tells us D is the center. Really not much to label there. And the measure of angle SYU is 63 degrees. So SYU is this angle right here, 63 degrees. We're trying to find arc AU, so I'll put a little question mark here. And we're also trying to find angle SDU. So that's this angle right here. All right, well, the first thing I would do is let's start with that 63 degrees. So if I highlight the angle SYU, what kind of angle is it? It's an inscribed angle. So we know that inscribed angles are half of the intercepted arcs. So the arc that the angle is opening up to is SU. So in order to get SU, you're going to double 63, which is 126. Now the reason why we were given D as the center is because if you look at segment SA, it passes through the center, which is known as a diameter. You have to ask yourself, okay, what does a diameter do to a circle? Splits it into semicircles. So I know that everything from S to A is going to be 180 degrees. So right away, that's actually going to help me find AU. Because all I have to do now is subtract 126 from 180. And that is going to give us 54 degrees. So that's our first answer. And now we're looking at angle STU. Well, if I look at angle STU, I'll highlight it in red here. This is a central angle because the vertex is at the center, D, and you'll notice that you're given its minor arc is 126. So what's the rule for central angles? They're going to be the same exact measurement. So that's measure of angle STU. All right, number 3. So we're looking for a lot of stuff here. So the very first angle, XWZ, is going to be 47 degrees. The second angle, WZP, will be 47 degrees too. Measure of arc WP will be 94. Measure of arc CP is 86. Measure of angle WYP is 94. And the last angle ZYP will be 86. So let's go over this. We are given that WZ is a diameter. We're given that segment XW is parallel to segment ZP. So whenever you guys are marking parallel segments, let's just draw little wings here, or you can make them little triangles, whatever you want. And we're given that arc XZ is 94. All right, so what I would do is I would just work with the picture. Let's figure out what we could label and then go back and actually fill in all the blanks. So first thing that catches my eye is the diameter. I know the diameter splits a circle into semicircles. So everything from W to Z is 180. So this will help me figure out arc XW, because we can do 180 minus 94, which gives us 86. So over here, we can label that as 86. Now, the second thing that I would take a look at are the parallel segments. You guys remember from our warm-up today, whenever you have parallel segments, you can definitely look for alternate interior angles. So I do have a pair of alternate interior angles right here and here. So if I can figure out one of those angles, I now know both of them. So if I take a look at the first angle, which is XWZ, notice how it's an inscribed angle because W is on the circle, and it's opening up to the 94-degree arc, XZ. So if you know the arc, how do you get the angle? Well, you got to take half of it, so that's going to be 47 degrees. So now we know the measure of angle WZP as well. This is going to be 47 degrees. And now we can take a look at the other half of the circle. And it's going to be the same as the first half of the circle. So if I'm looking at angle WZP, that's an inscribed angle. Its arc, its intercepted arc is WP. So I know that I'm going to double 47 to get 94 degrees. So that's the arc of WP. And then I have that semicircle from W to Z over here on the right-hand side. So all of this will be 180. So that makes it easy to find arc CP. You do 180 minus 94. So arc CP will be 86. And then I do have some central angles in here. I would just label them, and then if the question wants you to find it, then you can fill it in. I have a central angle right here at W and YP. So the central angle is going to be the same as its minor arc. So that angle is going to be 94 degrees. And then I have another central angle over here at ZYP. I'll just put double arcs here. And that's going to be the same as its minor arc, which is 86 degrees. Okay, so that's pretty much everything labeled. And then just go through and make sure you're reading the letters correctly, and make sure you know whether you're identifying an angle or an arc when you're filling them in. Okay, last question. You're just trying to find the measure of arc BC, and that answer is 98 degrees. All right, so let's label the following. The measure of angle ADC is 14 degrees. So ADC, this angle is 14 degrees. And the measure of arc AC is 70 degrees. We are finding arc BC. All right, well, let's take a look at the angle ADC. It is created by a secant line and a tangent line. It's an exterior angle because those lines meet outside of the circle. So that means we're going to use the equation, angle equals 1/2. And then we're going to either add or subtract the arcs. Well, since it's an exterior angle, it's outside the circle, we are going to subtract. So arc 1 minus arc 2. So you have to ask yourself, okay, what two arcs does the angle open up to? Or basically, what arcs are inside the angle? Well, definitely this 70-degree arc. And then also BC is the other arc. So since that's our unknown, let's call that x. And now we're just going to plug in what we know. The angle is 14. Drop down the 1/2. I'm going to subtract the arcs. Always take the bigger arc first. So visually looking at the picture, x is the bigger arc, 70 is the smaller arc. And now we're just going to use algebra. So we can distribute the 1/2. I like to use 0.5, so I'm going to say 0.5 times x is 0.5x. And then 0.5 times -70 is -35. All right, and then we're going to add 35 over, and we will get 49 equals 0.5x. And then when you guys divide by 0.5, it's actually going to make it 2 times bigger, so x is 98. All right, that's it for the review. Text me on remind if you guys have questions, or feel free to email me. I will see you tomorrow. Be prepared to take your quiz. Have a good night, guys.